What if Klay Thompson's not the only dub this year who's playing for Orlando next year?
What do you mean?
What about that, Dan Dibley?
That's a tease right there, buddy.
What about that?
Are you talking about the birthday boy?
Whose birthday is it?
Chris Paul.
I thought it was Willie Mays.
Maybe it was yesterday, Chris Paul's birthday.
They got the same birthday?
I saw something from Lucas on that.
Yeah. Chris Paul, he is now officially 39.
That was from me, but yeah, he's 39.
My bad, Grandy.
And Grandy was correct, so.
Is
Well,
it
there you go.
Is it today?
Yep.
Correct.
They have the same birthday?
Mm-hmm.
Different years.
Couple of
Oh,
legends.
no way.
Different years. Yeah, Chris a little older.
Do you want to know what my question is? We've been calling Chris Paul 39 for the whole year, but he was 38.
Yeah, I called him 38 all year.
I called him 39.
You called him 39 when you wanted to disrespect him. When you want to disparage him, you say 39.
I only wanted to disrespect him.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I wanted to do
you
all year.
almost came around on him. It was close.
No, I did. All of the I'll tell you what. If you want to call it disrespect, come on now. I'm not writing diss tracks like everybody else today.
Don't be disrespectful.
Totally.
The only thing negative, how about that?
Okay.
Only once did I do it after the year started. How about that?
Yeah.
I didn't, and by the way, I was not alone at all. I did not like the idea of Chris Paul being a Warrior.
Right.
I can feel that way preseason and also be big enough to look at what he did for the year and go, hey, he did a good job.
Yeah.
He did a good job. I give him that. I give him that.
It's good. Good year.
He did a good job.
In the role that he was.
Still Chris Paul, and I still have rooted against him my entire life and had a hard time with him being on the team.
Is he the other Warrior who is maybe going to be a Magic's? Is that who you were referring to?
Ryan Russillo on the Bill Simmons podcast.
It's funny because I actually think like two Warriors would fit the bill here.
Oh.
Where you go, all right, well, could Chris Paul play 20 minutes and unclog some of these? Because what I don't want them to do is I don't want them to bring in somebody so ball dominant that then it takes away from some of Paolo's possessions. It's one of the hardest things with all these talented players, be like who overlaps and then who complements with their skill set or really even their mindset of how they want to attack the game. So I think they need some kind of guard that's a little bit more deferential that could still shoot. But, I don't know what people think of Chris Paul now at this point, and I don't know if this team would be good enough for him to sign on for less money. And that's why I still think Klay is going to make a lot of money somewhere because on top of everything else, he's a great teammate. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
And I think despite the Sacramento game and the play-in elimination, he salvaged himself somewhat this season from the lows of him, almost having these open therapy sessions with the media after the game, which is not surprising for somebody like him and his stature to go through everything he went through.
Ryan Russillo, again, Bill Simmons podcast. I kind of agree with him, and I'll admit that I've gone a little back and forth on this. Pincus came on with us a few weeks ago, sort of made it sound like, I don't know if anybody's going to really offer Klay that kind of money. And so for a minute, I'm like, let me think about that. And I'm not sure. And the landscape changes every time someone gets eliminated. But as you look at this right now and think about how many, this is what I look for with Klay. How many teams out there are like, all we need is dude, knock down a three and tell these pups how to win in the postseason. That's all we need. Is there anybody out there like that? Can we go shopping for that guy? If I am, and they're still in it, I haven't even lost a game yet, but if I'm Oklahoma City, if I'm Orlando, if I'm Cleveland, if I'm any of these, the Knicks, if I'm one of these younger teams and I need someone who can do two things, knock down a J and teach me how to do the Dougie. Teach me how to do the damn thing in the end. If I need that, who's out there? Klay freaking Thompson.
Yeah.
And I will pay for it.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get a good number.
I think he'll get a good number. I don't know if it'll be all the way up to 30, but it'll be more than the 24 that the Warriors reportedly offered. And OKC, number one in the league in three-point shooting. So I don't know if they necessarily need a shooter.
No,
they need more of that OG
right
to that point, and I think that he would fit them well. It was interesting when we talked to Eric Pincus, who's really good on the NBA salary cap and the money and all the rest of it, because most of the teams that have money are the bad teams, except for Orlando. That's why I think the fit is almost too perfect, because Eric was talking about Detroit and how much money they have. And, Klay Thompson wouldn't go in there and help them in any real way to go from a 14-win team to a 25-win team. Fine. maybe he could do that, but that's not what Klay's looking for, and it's not what Detroit's looking for either. So of all the teams that have money, most of them are the bad teams, except for Orlando, which is why I think, and it's surprising to me that we heard about it so soon, because Orlando just lost yesterday. I was in my car yesterday listening to that game thinking, oh my God, they're going to lose this game. How are they going to lose this game? They were dominating Cleveland for so long.
They were up by 18.
And yet here we are, not even a full day later, and the mutual interest vibe is already being talked about.
Yeah, because these conversations are underway. Why do you think we're sitting here talking about this every day? The conversations are underway. Agents are not in 1, 2, 3 Cancun. They're not. Actually, maybe they are, but they're on the phone. Let's go to D-Money in Hayward. Hey, D-Money, you're on with Willard and Dibs. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Willard? What's up, Dibs?
What's good?
What's going on?
Tried to play hooky today from work, but I didn't know the wifey was home today also, so I'm in the garden right now. But, man, the thing about Klay Thompson is, man, he didn't play himself into a contract. He played himself out a contract with that performance he pulled out in the last game of the season, man. We showed him the loyalty by giving him that deal when he tore his knee in 19, and 2 out of the 4 years he rehabbed that knee, collected free money. He should do us a solid and take whatever we're offering him and let's go.
Yeah, it's not the way that works.
Doesn't work that way, D-Money. And I mean, you know that. And by the way, he doesn't look at it that way, and he shouldn't look at it that way. I mean, if I'm a player, I'm not rehabbing off of a torn ACL and a torn Achilles, which is hell, so I'm told. Thank goodness. I've never had either injury. I'm told that it's hell, especially when you are having to do it to the level of being an elite athlete. You don't look at giving up ligaments out of your body and think that you're doing the team a favor. You don't. It's not like when you say he sat there collecting money, do you know what he was actually doing that year? Working his butt off, D-Money.
Yeah, I know. He was rehabbing, but it was just the thought. I mean, they didn't look at him as damaged goods and said, that's it. We're going to move on from here. They actually believed in him, and I'm just saying, like, for him to turn around and try to go for more money this year, it's like, man, you're at the tail end of your career. You made more than enough money. Why not just do the Warriors a solid so we could get some free agents around and let's go out with a bang?
So, D-Money, let me ask you something now, because you're kind of coming from the spot that I really want to talk to today. What if I told you he doesn't want to stay?
Well, I think that'd be a good thing for the Warriors, honestly.
Okay.
I mean,
that's fine, but how would you view that from Klay?
I would look at it as if he was more on thinking of himself more and looking at the money more and looking at more opportunities elsewhere to be the guy, which at this age, you really can't be the guy, but it's going to be a money thing at the end. I mean, if you wanted to stay here and stay with the team that drafted you and build your legacy, you would go ahead and take the 24 that they offered you before the season even started.
It's always interesting. D-Money, thanks. It's always interesting to me. I get it. We're fans of a team, so therefore we get romantic about a team. If you're a fan of a team, like a real fan of a team, that's the only constant. The constant is the jersey, right? The team itself, not the players. So I think sometimes we fall into that trap of viewing these conversations through the lens of the team. And therefore, then we end up calling the player selfish financially when it is the team that is making way more money.
Right.
And in fact is directly getting the money from you, the fan, and calling the player selfish for thinking about himself. Who the hell else is he supposed to think about?
Exactly. I mean, the player is supposed to get the most money that he can possibly get. And then when you sign a contract, your job is to do your best for that organization. Do the best that you can. And Klay Thompson had 2 years where he was hurt and they paid him anyway. It doesn't mean that now that he's going into free agency, he's got to think about that and go, you know what? They did me a solid. I'm going to come in and play for the minimum now.
Right, but he got hurt doing what?
Playing basketball, Mark.
For who?
Not the second time.
Not the second time, but
for the Warriors, yeah.
For the Warriors.
And then he, like you said, he goes in there and he does all the work to try to make it back, and he's almost back, and he gets hurt again. And
then he comes back from that and wins another ring.
Title, yeah. So he doesn't owe the Warriors anything.
Nothing. Like, have any of you ever filed for workers' comp? When you're done with that problem? Or are you like, God, I owe everything to the organization. I'm not thinking of me anymore. I owe it to Home Depot to be there in my orange smock tomorrow and for the rest of my life.